me in welcoming back to DHS Ms. Summer Nilsson.
Hi everyone, I'm Summer Nilsson, Daingerfield High School, class of 1995. First and foremost, I want to thank Superintendent Lisa Lewis for the opportunity to be here. It is an honor. I also want to thank the graduates and parents for the distinct privilege of speaking tonight. Before I continue, you should know two things about me. First, I am blind as a bat, and I also cry at Hallmark card. So, if I pause, it is to find my place on the page, and if I cry, please know that they are tears of joy and tiger pride. As I said, I graduated in '95, 29 years. They go by in a blink. The point is that I have sat where he sits, in search of the world, ready to see what would unfold. I did some things right, and made a lot of mistakes too. All to arrive at the same stage, tonight with a much different perspective. We're all searching for something. For some of us, it's reason, the why. Some call it meaning, others call it purpose. But regardless of where you go from here, on what terms and with what potential, I know you're in search of something, and I pray you find it. Tonight, with the time I've been given, I would like to share a little bit about my search and subsequent findings, so that they help you navigate your own path and find your own purpose. I believe that my being here represents the sum total of choices that led to this moment. Life is about choices. One chooses to be present, just as one chooses to be happy. Happiness is perhaps the biggest choice you make in life. You decide each day to be grateful. And no one can make you happy either. That's a tough pill to swallow, one that I didn't learn until much later in life. I looked to other people to validate my goals. I wanted them to tell me that my goals were okay, my choices justified. What you learn later is that it's not anyone else's job to validate your goals. It's a right that you are bestowed based upon the air you breathe and the diploma you've now earned. But in taking ownership of it, you are now also accountable to it. So make the decisions that afford you the greatest luxury in life, that of choosing happiness. Have faith that you'll be placed on a path to achieve it, and believe that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. You alone control the narrative in your mind. So choose your thoughts as carefully as you choose your next steps, and with equal intention. As you embark on the next chapter of your lives, many of you will run to the finish line. I encourage and advise you to slow down. Take every opportunity to learn. It's too soon to see if your time is being wasted. You haven't spent it yet. I decided in the 4th grade, while roaming the halls of South Elementary, that I would become an author. I knew that one day I would have a story to tell. Turns out, I had a series of them. But it didn't happen overnight. And it couldn't have happened with every experience that occurred along the way. In hindsight, the losses were more valuable than the victories. I felt them more. As an author, I'm often asked which books inspired me the most. And from the age of 22, the answer has always been The Fountainhead. I'll paraphrase, but the main character's most important line is, to say I love, one must first know how to say the I. 29 years after graduating, I learned a thing or two about that I. I know who I am. The question of the evening is, who are you? I stand before you, having earned humility. Life isn't easy. It isn't designed to be. So be the first to arrive at work in the morning, and the last to leave at night, for a while. Identify what you want and earn it, because there's no workaround. You will make many sacrifices in order to succeed. The trick is to decide what you're willing to trade before you embark on a journey. Decide up front and hold your ground. For what it's worth, I offer the following perspective as it pertains to the trades you should and should not make in life. You should trade the fear of failure for fortitude. It's called courage. I suffered from debilitating social anxiety growing up. Nobody knew it. I constantly heard a voice in my head that told me I wasn't good enough. I was terrified to speak. I often kind of flipped the switch and performed in order to get through it and to survive the moment. The problem was that afterwards, I couldn't remember what I had said or what anybody else said either. So it often left me misunderstood, appearing aloof and distant, and as a result, I became incredibly insecure. Learn to silence self-doubt. Find the courage, try new things, introduce yourself, and know that you are worthy of that exchange. Next, trade ego for work ethic. One of the most valuable moments in my career occurred when I worked in the circulation department at the Dallas Morning News. I learned about newspaper printing and about distribution of the paper. There's nothing glamorous about the job. But 2 decades later, when it came time to print the books for my series, I knew exactly what questions to ask. My point is, there's always a reason, even if you can't see it yet. It may not be what you prayed for at the time. It's called faith for a reason. Next, trade perception for potential. I was also fortunate enough to be tasked with launching a Food Network magazine. It was a moment in my career that I will always treasure. Not because I met fancy people, but because I got to work with the best of the best, building a brand from the ground up. But a funny thing happened to me during that window of time. I'd worked really hard to get where I was, and I thought it's what I wanted. By everyone else's definition, I was accomplished, but I wasn't fulfilled. That's okay. I learned that one's definition of success changes as you grow. It's supposed to. So gain the experience and listen for your calling. You're the only one that can hear it. More importantly, you're the only one that can define it. Trade the perception of who you think you're supposed to be for the potential to become what's possible. Now, here is what you never trade: your values, your integrity, or your character. Starting with values, I think we can all agree on the value of Sonic Ice and a good playlist on a backcountry road. But the point tonight is the value of basic kindness. It's the 5 seconds it takes to hold open a door to smile at a stranger. That smile might save or change someone's life. You learn these values growing up in a small town. So as you run towards tomorrow, remember your roots and hold on to your integrity. What do you stand for? You can become anything that you set your minds to, for better or worse. People will try to tell you that your goals are too far-reaching, that it's too complicated. Just because someone else sells out doesn't mean that you have to. But you can't quit just because it's harder than you thought it was going to be. Decide who you are, decide what you want, and do the work. That's why, in the Land of the Pines, my first book, I actually call it The Worker's Decree. You can choose to chase your dreams. Remember, life is about choices. It's your name on the line. Your promise to find the inner strength to break through the gates that bind you. Just know, someone is always watching. That's the world we live in. So, whatever mark you make, know that it will be documented in a footprint that will follow you into every interview. So be kind and carry only what continues to serve you. The parting advice I would give to my former student self: it's your story. You decide what character you want to play and what you're willing to sacrifice for the part. Make sure your role reflects your true character. Don't ever trade that. For it's the hope that we carry to that which lies ahead. It's the faith that we forge when we gather to break bread. It's the kindness we extend in the moments that count. It's the strength we exude with the hardships that mount. It's the resolve that remains and the courage within. And the pride we pay forward from the tiger's den. Congratulations to the Daingerfield High School class.